Jasmine had always believed that love meant sacrifice. She met Horace during a youth conference in Abuja. He spoke with fire, moved with grace, and looked at her like she mattered. She gave him everything, her trust, her body, her dreams. Their wedding under a mango tree was simple but sacred. To Jasmine, it was forever. Months into the marriage, things began to shift. Horace no longer laughed at her stories. He returned home smelling of strange perfumes, his phone always locked. "Work is stressful," he'd say. Jasmine believed him, because loving blindly means ignoring even the loudest truth. Mahira, her childhood friend, started visiting more often, always in bright makeup, tight clothes, and loud perfume. "You're too simple, Jasmine," she would laugh. "Men get bored." Jasmine smiled, hiding her bruised heart. She didn't want to believe the glances between Horace and Mahira, but her soul had started trembling. One night, Jasmine lit a candle and cried quietly as the wind whispered through their open window. She asked God for a sign. That same week, she found lipstick on Horace's shirt, a color she never wore. He laughed it off. "Probably Mahira's. She hugged me too tight, you know how she is." Her chest tightened, but she nodded. She began waking up at 4 a.m. to pray for her marriage. She fasted.
She cried.
She laid her head on cold tile floors begging God to fix what was breaking. But some things even prayer doesn't heal because they were never meant to be whole. One Saturday, Horace claimed he had a late meeting. Jasmine followed him, barefoot in slippers, with a borrowed Kiki Napep. She watched him walk into an exclusive hotel. An hour later, Mahira arrived, in heels, red lipstick, and a devilish smirk. Jasmine didn't cry. She walked up to the receptionist. "Room 406, she whispered. What she saw inside broke her more than any lie. Horace, on the bed, laughing, feeding Mahira grapes. Jasmine ran into the streets, barefoot, her scarf flying. Her body collapsed near the roadside. A stranger helped her up. She vomited bile and pain. That night, she didn't return home. She wandered Lagos alone, crying like a woman whose womb had been torn open. She found shelter at her late mother's cousin's house. Mama Dyke stared into Jasmine's eyes and whispered, "Child, your mother once cried like this. Your father had another family, but she stayed and died from sorrow." Those words pierced Jasmine deeper than Horace's betrayal. 3 weeks passed. Jasmine cut off her hair. She applied for a job as a counselor at a women's shelter. She wore colors again, bright, bold, unapologetic. She didn't pick Horace's calls. She blocked Mahira. She chose herself. At a workshop for survivors, she met Kweku, a calm architect with ocean eyes and hands that didn't grab but offered. He listened. He never asked about Horace. He told her about the mosque he designed for orphan children. He smiled without expecting anything back. And slowly, Jasmine smiled too. One day, Horace showed up at her shelter. His eyes were red. His shirt was wrinkled. Mahira had dumped him, moved to Canada with a richer man. "Jas, please. I made a mistake. I need you." Jasmine looked at him, but she didn't see the man she once loved. She saw the man who crushed her spirit and called it love. She said nothing. A month later, Jasmine was invited to speak at a women's conference. In a flowing indigo dress, with beads in her ears and light in her eyes, she stood on stage. Hundreds listened. She told her story, not with shame, but strength. Then, she looked straight into the crowd and said, "Love does not demand your silence. It does not sleep with your best friend. The day I walked out was the day I was born." Horace was in the back row, tears in his eyes. Jasmine saw him, and for the first time she felt nothing. Because the opposite of love isn't hate, it's peace.